all the time. He's done this numerous times since he's been there. I mean, what point in time do you just grow up and say, man, you coming out?
Well, look, I mean, you're down 3-1. He's your ace.
Yep.
He's pitched phenomenal. He's shown no signs of running out of gas. I'm okay if he's that adamant that he wants to do it. Then he's your guy. So I say run him out there. That's fine. But you live with the consequences, and they'll do that, and they'll certainly second guess that from now till eternity. Really, the first official playoff top 25 will be unveiled tonight. Who's your top 4? I think we'll go with that as a question of the day. Who's your top 4? Who would you have in there? I mean, you can predict who you think the committee will pick, but I'd like to know who you think are the top 4 teams, because there is so much. You looked at it. I looked at it today, and it's almost impossible to kind of differentiate these teams.
It doesn't matter right now. I don't even need to come out with it today. I mean, it's completely and totally insignificant to have that released today, because what it's going to look like in 3 or 4 weeks. I mean, let's just say Alabama and LSU are up there tonight, which both of them could possibly be. Well, that's not going to be the case after Saturday. So, I mean, it's really this thing has no bearing. I mean, you look at Baylor, what they've got coming up, and possibility of TCU and Ohio State with Michigan. And it's just something for everybody to talk about, because next week's going to be totally different. And I guess you try to do it to see if you can see a pattern, to kind of show some consistency, where it's not just, all right, we're going to have this one release and here's our top 4. You got to show at some point in time. But it's really just something for people to sit around and talk about. That's all it is.
I think the first one's important because in this regard, in that it establishes you in there, and you have to fall out. I mean, let's say you end up with 5 undefeated teams. Well, I mean, if you didn't get there, I mean, are you going to climb into? You got to fall out. So I think that's the only reason it would be any importance.
Well, I think so. I mean, I can see that side of it, but I'd also see that there are so many elements, if you're not in the top 4, that are going to work its way out, where you can be in the top 4 when it's all said and done. So you really can't be upset about it. I mean, if you're on the bubble, now somebody's going to get left out. Somebody's going to be mad in a few weeks anyway. The bottom line, about second week of December, somebody's going to be mad. Maybe 1 or 2 teams going to be mad. I mean, is it going to be what if Memphis ends up running the table? Who do you stick in there and who do you not stick in there? And I mean, it becomes a debate again. It's almost similar to the BCS. But we didn't have that happen in the BCS system only but a couple of times, where you could conceivably have another team that could be up there in place of one of the top 2 teams. And this system is more ambiguous, and it's got ambiguity involved in it because of the human element. But I think that's what everybody wanted. Everybody wanted to have a 14 playoff, or majority, longed for a 14 playoff to see if you could give more people an opportunity. So, but what we found is college football continues to become more and more equal across the board, and there's a lot more teams up there in 2015 and moving on forward that have a shot to be there.
We'll certainly look at that. Certainly more as the show goes along. Again, we'd love to know who's your top 4. Brian Matthews will join us at 4:30 this afternoon. Again, we'll be taking your predictions like we do every week. Auburn at Texas A&M. We'll go with Javon Robinson rushing yards this week.
You'll get that many carries?
Well, it's kind of one of those things. We haven't really. This is our first chance to be on air this week, and we both were at the game, and I asked you before the game. I mean before the show. At what point did you lose
I'll tell you.
faith and say we're not going to win this game?
I'll tell you now. Now that we're on there, when we get down inside the 5-yard line for, I guess going all the way back till the end of last year and not being able to score touchdowns and having to kick field goals, that's what beat us in Mississippi State. It's an inability in the red zone to be able to punch the ball across the goal line. And people that sat around me had been sitting around me for 20 years in Jordan-Hare Stadium. Javon Robinson just pounded the ball down the field and get inside the 5-yard line, and we start doing all kind of other stuff. I don't know what it is. And everybody I listened to and watched this weekend and up until today was critical of Auburn's play calling, whether it be on Facebook, Twitter, any type of radio show nationally, any type of publication or magazine article, whatever it is that I've read or talked about or seen, they've been. I mean, look, that's what it was. I mean, it's not the only thing that prevented Auburn from winning, but it definitely hampered it. Now, there were some things that players didn't do that make plays look bad when they don't get executed right. Okay, when a guy misses a block or somebody drops a pass or things like that happen can make you look like you're calling bad plays. So there was a lack of execution at key moments in the game too, Andy, that could have overcome all that, and we'd not be talking about this. We'd be talking about a win and talking about how it's so funny how you approach things and how you address things, whether you win or lose. If we'd have won this ball game, we'd score touchdowns and we'd have won this ball game. We'd be talking about how the offense is really gaining momentum and the defense looked better, although total yards wise they gave up a ton still. But we'd be talking about all the positives. Instead, we're talking about what if this would have happened or what if this had gone our way, when you're on the other side of it. So you got our guys for 2 weeks now in a row have, in key parts of the game, have not been able to execute when the play has been called and their number's been called. And that's got to change to begin with before anything gets better.
Well, Gus Malzahn today in his press conference as much said the play calling was not good. And he's got to do a better job. So at least he acknowledged it today.
Well, he's been saying that since Georgia of last year.
Well, I mean, look, Shaun White was not healthy. Peyton Barber was not healthy. And, that kind of changes the play calling.
I know that.
And, we come out, and I'm beside myself. I mean, the first 10 plays, we got 3 quarterbacks running. And I'm like, what in the world are we doing? Well, I mean, of course, just a sidebar here. We're on the air all last week, and not a mention of Shaun White not practicing all week. I mean, it's like
didn't get that message till Saturday morning.
I mean, it's like, how in the world did they keep these things quiet? Neither Peyton Barber nor Shaun White practices all week, and there's not a whisper about it until Saturday. I get there and somebody says, Shaun White's got a knee brace on. They say he's a game time decision. I go, what? Where did this come from?
I got a text on the way to Auburn early that morning, saying that, man, there's a possibility he doesn't play. I was like, well, I need to turn around in the middle of the road. I mean, I'm not there yet. I need to go, but and he played. I mean, look, you got to admire the grit and the competitive nature of Shaun White. And he did. He played about as good as he could. And he missed some throws because of, maybe because of his situation.
But here's my point, though. We come out, we try that. We bring in Jeremy Johnson, we bring in the Wildcat and all that kind of thing. Obviously, it just does not work. We know we're not going to be getting in the rhythm, so we scrap that. I'll give Gus Malzahn credit for we need to try something because our quarterback's hurt, and it doesn't work. So, look, we'll just go with what we got, and we'll do the best we can. Now, you bring in Jeremy Johnson in for the quarterback draw down there, in first and goal at the 6, first and goal at the 3, and we don't score. We kick 2 field goals. I'm just as much as that. And here's there's 2 ways to look at it, I guess, but. We get down there on the long pass to Tony Stevens. We get there first and goal at the 3, and for all of our and us as much as anybody else for all of our critique of why we just running Peyton Barber up the middle. If you're first and goal at the 3, run it up the middle 4 straight times. If you don't get in, you don't get in.
That's it.
I mean, I'm at that, but especially if your quarterback's banged up. But, I mean, Javon Robinson, put him in there. I mean, of course, I'm saying substitute him, but normally it would be Barber. But
it is just so hard to decide and to decipher why we do what we do and the substitutions, and then why somebody plays for a quarter and then goes away.
Yeah.
And then where did he come from? And then why all of a sudden was it important for him to get in the game right now? And you can't get any consistency built up. That's the problem. That is the problem right now. And
it's a problem.
It is a problem. It's one of several problems. Let's go to the phone line, and I'm sure he'll echo some of this stuff too. Shadow, you're on Sportscall.
Thank you for taking the call. I just wanted to ask y'all, taking a look at the Auburn basketball situation and taking a look at the kind of quality players that are making commitments to Auburn. Let me see now. What was the record Auburn had last year in basketball?
What?
Well, my point is it was a losing record. And I wanted to ask y'all's opinion of why you think all of a sudden, after 20 years, some of the best players in the country can't wait to sign with Auburn.
There's no question it's Bruce Pearl.
Well, then in that case, it would be that the coaches are the ones that are responsible for getting the quality players. But when you have coaches that are not getting it done on the field, they're decommitting, they're opening their recruiting, they're not really sure where they want to go. But because the coaches are not getting it done on the field, you're not getting the kind of quality players that you need. Auburn is in deep, deep trouble. The coaches that Malzahn wanted to bring to Auburn for the defense have been there long enough to get the improvements at least somewhat started. But Auburn today is worse on offense and defense than they were at any point last year. I'm going to hang up and ask you, where am I wrong? Thank you very much.
We appreciate it, Shadow. We'll get to that in just a second. Let's go back to the phone lines. Terry, you're on Sportscall.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Thank you for taking my call. When y'all were first talking before you took Shadow's call, you were talking about ifs this and ifs that. Quote Don Mary that, if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. But
yeah, I wasn't saying that from my standpoint. I'm saying when you're on the L side, when you end up on the loss side, that's how you look at it. If you end up on the win side, you approach things and you analyze it from a different perspective. That's all I was saying, and I definitely know what Dandy Don said. I'm very familiar with that.
Exactly, and I didn't mean that critical.
Yeah, I understand.
The thing is yesterday's host, they were down on Jeremy Johnson, and I'm not a Jeremy Johnson fan. I could care one way or the other. But I'm going to tell you guys, in my opinion, which is probably useless, Saturday's game lays on two people and two people only. That's Coach Malzahn and Coach Leslie. When you've got a quarterback that's been playing for the last 4 or 5 games and he comes out there with a knee brace on, and you got Jeremy Johnson, who's a big dude, and it's powerful, and you get down there in the red zone, and you take your starting quarterback out and put him in. The guy up there in the stand selling popcorn knows he's going to run football. And then when you bring him in the other time, you put him by himself in the backfield with 5 receivers. That means he's going to throw it. Now, that's not very hard to defend against, gentlemen. That's not very hard to defend against.
I don't disagree.
I don't either. And, to me, and I'll say this about Jeremy Johnson, Terry, since you brought it up, if there was ever a chance for him to get back on the field, would be after a Sean White didn't practice all week and is in a knee brace. That tells me all I need to know right there about what Gus Malzahn and Rhett Lashley feel about Jeremy Johnson. He's not getting back on the field. I'd rather go with a banged up, can't do but about half of what he normally could do, Sean White, than rather put 100%. They have just zero confidence left in Jeremy Johnson, and I don't think he has any confidence left in himself. And he's just not even an option anymore.
It wouldn't surprise me to see Jeremy transfer. But the other thing is, now, gentlemen, I'm a little bit older than y'all, and I've watched a lot of football. But I'm going to tell you, in any football team in the nation, they start out the year if they don't have everybody returning in the starting positions from the year before. It's called rhythm. And you've got to get that rhythm with your team. And to come out and pull this stuff that they pull of 3 or 4 different people trying to run quarterback, what do you think the rhythm is with your backfield, your receivers, or your offensive line? I mean, it takes time to develop rhythm. And when you do that, I don't think there's a team in the nation that can adjust for running 3 or 4 different people in 3 or 4 different situations.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like a Chinese fire drill, you know?
It's good points there, Terry.
Maybe I'm totally wrong. But I thank y'all for taking my call.
Hey,
y'all have a great day.
We appreciate it. Thank you, Terry.
Up against a break here, but don't go anywhere. More Sportscall presented by Home Place Mortgage right after this.
When you have car trouble,
Cleanest store to better get you in and out in a flash. With great deals like those, the only place to go is TK's Convenience Store. And there we found it. With 15 locations to better serve you, there is no way you can't find one of these great stores.
You served your country well. Now civilian life just feels different, and you can't seem to find where to put your next step. Well, you're not alone. Still Serving Veterans is helping guide veterans through the transition from military to civilian and beyond. And there's never a cost to their clients. They help veterans find jobs. For more information, and there is more, call us today at 334-384-9111 or click on stillservingveterans.org.
See, bro.
At Still Serving Veterans, we are here to help.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Tuesday edition of Sports Call. Andy and Brett here with you until 6 o'clock. Taking your phone calls at 1-888-9-TIGER-9, toll free locally at 334-887-3401 on the AO Tourism hotline. Sports Call today brought to you by Lee Marketing Group. From logo design and branding to ad placement, LMG can handle it all. For ease of time, cutting edge, results-driven marketing campaigns, think Lee Marketing Group, your comprehensive marketing solution. Be sure to check them out at leemarketing.net.
I got something interesting to throw out at you, and I read this somewhere, and just kind of looking at from a consistency standpoint and where they rank with everybody else over the last 20 years. You know how many winning SEC records Tommy Tuberville had while he was at Auburn?
I'm gonna say he was there 10 years?
Yeah.
I'm going to say 8.
He had 8. You know how many we've had in the last 7 years?
2.
10
and 13.
And they were great years.
Yeah.
But outside of that, we've been below mediocre.
We've been 4-4 several times. And
that's mediocre. Andy, yeah. And we're going to be the same way again this year. You're not going to have a winning record in the SEC this year. You're not.
No.
That's going to be 5 of the last 7 years that you've had 500 or below in the SEC. Now, the 2 good years you had were great, but I don't know, what does it take to get back to the consistency point now? Everybody goes, well, Tommy Tuberville didn't win anything. Well, he won SEC championship and should have had an opportunity to play for national championship in 04. They had some pretty good teams that were ranked in the top 5, and we'd lose a game we weren't supposed to, but He had a consistent program, and we haven't been able to find it since. We've kind of been in our own little post Gene Stallings era for Alabama, because when Gene Stallings left, they couldn't find it. They couldn't find a consistent coach. They went after one coach after another. Couldn't find a consistent, and then finally got Nick Saban, and you see what he's been able to do. So, I don't know what the answer is. I hope that things can continue to hope this is just a chink in armor and things will cycle back around and we can get going in the right direction. But we were preseason ranked number 1 in the SEC. We were predicted to win the thing, and we're in last place. So I know that there's elements that come in that Jeremy Johnson didn't pan out. That was huge. Duke Williams not on the team. You got guys in the secondary banged up, aren't playing. Holsey's not there anymore. T.J. Davis hadn't played in Lord knows when. I know there are elements. It's not really even the same team. Javon Robinson up until this past Saturday hadn't had hardly any carries. I think he had 4 yards coming into the game. 4 carries coming into the game for however many yards, and so things just hadn't panned out the way everybody predicted them to. But why does that happen to us? Why does it not pan out? Why do things happen like that? Why does your star player get kicked off the team? You were just talking about it off there. Maybe Javon Robinson hadn't been doing what he needed to do, and that's what's kept him off the field more than an ankle injury. But why do we go through all this all the time?
It's good questions, and I'm not sure what the answers are. We talked about this last week. Tommy Tuberville, 8 years, from 2000 to 2007.
99.
47 and 17.
Oh, yeah, from 2000. Yeah, you're right.
2008 to now, 29 and 32.
That's my point.
But 1 SEC title, 2 SEC titles, a national championship, and played for another. So the ceiling, that was the whole point of going to the spread. It would allow us to get better offensive talent. It was hopefully allow us to climb over, to break that ceiling and get to where we'd never gone. We got there. Well, and again, I won't give up 2010 or 2013 for anything.
Well, of course not.
I'll take some inconsistency. But
I don't want it this way. You know how you got there?
But I don't want it this way. But it is what it is.
But you know how you got there? By building a consistent program. You'll have more 2010s and more 2013s if you go on more runs like Tommy Tuberville did in the 8-year stretch he had. I mean, I know he didn't get it done per se, and I know Mark Richt doesn't get it done either per se, but you sure put yourself in position to have more 2010s and 2004s and 2013s when you're winning on a consistent basis and you're winning more against your rivals and your division opponents than they're winning against you.
Well,
and right now we're not doing that.
Championship.
Right now we're not doing. We did it in 04.
Well, I mean, but we did get any champion. I mean, we got one SEC title out of those 8 years.
I understand it was almost Mark Rickish a little bit. I mean, it was during that stretch. But your records and overall perception of the program was a lot higher because now you go in, you don't know if you're going to be 3-8 or if you're going to go 13-0. I mean, you don't know what you're going to get.
I mean, you know, I think the only way to be really consistent is having a really good defense and to play, you know, West Coast.
And we're not even close
football.
to a great defense. Not even close to.
But we've proven that we can win big with a bad defense. And I mean, which do you prefer?
But over
consistency or championship?
But over time, that you have to have an anomaly like Cam Newton or Nick Marshall at quarterback to do it. If you got a below average quarterback, then you're not going to win any of those games. I mean, think about 2010 and how many times we got bailed out. Or we bailed ourselves out in 2013, about 3 or 4 plays away from going 8-5 that year.
That's true.
I mean, so you can't live off of that. You're gonna have more 2011s and 12s than you are 2010s and 13s if you don't become consistent. And then you're going to start affecting your recruiting. I know you made mention that, hey, we're still getting big name players. We are until they get tired of saying, man, I am not going down there. Because they've had 2 winning seasons in the SEC in the last 7 years.
Well, you think about, I mean, going back to 2000, I guess maybe 8, Cody Burns, 5-star, top 10 quarterback, no production.
I mean, we got a long list of them.
Tariq Rollison.
I know we got a long list of them that didn't pan out.
When is the quarterback just going to start to say, I can't go there because they're ruining quarterbacks?
They're ruining quarterbacks. I agree. Let's get one call before we go to break. David, you're on Sportscall.
Yes, I had a couple comments. Back in 2010, I remember, our offense, running the football, doing the things they needed to do to get down inside the 10 or the 5-yard line. And then here comes Cody Burns in. So this kind of stuff has been going on since way back, since he was an offensive coordinator.
I don't know if Cody Burns came in when Cam Newton was in. Out in 2010, he didn't.
Well, he came in a couple of times, down, inside the 5 or inside the 10 to try to punch it in. But, and another comment I needed to make was in 2010 when we came into that season, do we have less questions on the team than we did coming into this season, or do we have more this year?
That's a good question. I think we had some big-time questions because we didn't know what we had at quarterback in 2010. We thought we had a pretty good defensive line. Nick Fairley. I would say it's probably about the same, about as far as what we knew and what we didn't. I think we probably felt like we had a better team coming into this year.
Oh, there is no question. The preseason expectations going into this year versus going in 2010 aren't even close. I mean, it's not even the same. And of course, we far exceeded what we were going to do in 10, and we have absolutely tanked out compared to what we were expected to do this year.
Well, do y'all think that Gus is seeing the handwriting on the wall right now, and he's, kind of maybe trying to build for next year?
I don't know I don't know. I can't answer that question. I really don't. I mean, you've really had an opportunity against some teams like Mississippi State, Ole Miss, and Arkansas to win those games, and 2 of them were at home, and one of them was on the road, and you lost in 4 overtimes. I mean, you could easily have won those 3 games, and you could be sitting here with 1 loss against LSU. But you couldn't find a way to win, or you didn't execute, or the wrong play was called, or whatever the combination was not to win it. And now you're sitting at 4-4 in a very precarious situation to whether you're even going to make a bowl game now or not.
Well, another question I had was in the LSU game. I just wanted to know y'all's opinion. Which half was Jeremy Johnson's best half?
In the LSU game?
Yeah.
I guess if you had to pick one, it'd be second half.
Yeah, he did break off a 60-yard run.
He threw a touchdown pass too.
So my thing is, if he was struggling and he wasn't making the right reads, but he was starting to get better. So why would you pull him after he started getting better?
Well, we did lose that game 45-21. I'm not sure how much better he was really getting.
You got a point there, but I appreciate y'all taking my call.
We appreciate it, David.
Thank you so much, David. Up against a break here. Hopefully when we come back, we'll be joined by Brian Matthews from auburnsports.com. More Sportscall presented by Lee Marketing Group right after this.
What value would you gain working with Lee Marketing Group? With 4 divisions under one umbrella, Sign Source, Lee Apparel, R&B Media, and LMG Baker Advertising Agency, Lee Marketing Group offers a comprehensive approach. From logo design and branding to ad placement and everything in between, LMG can handle it all. For ease of time, cutting-edge, results-driven marketing campaigns, think LMG. Lee Marketing Group, your comprehensive marketing solution.
Home Place Mortgage of Auburn has the team to tailor all of your mortgage needs. With Home Place Mortgage, you get fast, personalized service from East Central Alabama's best team. Whether it's a new home purchase, refinance, or cash out, Home Place has all the options with fast turnaround and the market's lowest rates.
Hey, this is Eric McKinley with Home Place Mortgage. Call us for all of your mortgage needs.
Call Home Place Mortgage of Auburn at 334-521-7600 today. 334-521-7600.
At Bone and Joint Specialists, there is no better feeling than to know that we have helped make someone's life better. Orthopedic surgeons Dr. Paul Goldhagen and Dr. Martha George treat all injuries and conditions related to your bones, joints, and muscles for both adults and pediatric patients while specializing in arthritis and sports medicine. 256-329-9133 or visit us online at bonesandjoints.com. Alexander City, Wetumpka, Sylacauga, and Dadeville. Bone and Joint Specialists, getting you back into the game of life.
Folks around these parts have known for a long time that Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is your number one stop for automotive service and repair. At Walls Tire, you'll always find quality service at a fair price on everything from AC, name brand tires, big or small repairs, routine maintenance, towing, and more. When your car or truck needs to run right, there's one place in the area to go. Conveniently located and easy to find. Walls Tire.
Call today at 256-825-2628.
Allegiant Staffing is your solution. We serve Auburn, Opelika, Montgomery, Wetumpka, Talladega, Alexander City, and the LaGrange, Georgia areas. Allegiant Staffing concentrates on light industrial, hospitality, clerical, engineering, and upper-level management positions. So whether you're a business owner looking for hardworking employees or someone seeking an entry-level opportunity or an advancement in your career, Allegiant Staffing is the employment agency for you. Visit our website at allegiantstaffing.com to find the closest branch near you.
Over the years, Lake Martin Community Hospital has served the Lake Martin area with a personal touch and grown to better serve your needs, including MRI services, a community fitness facility, wellness center, home health services, hospice program, full-service pharmacy, family medical center, and Lake Martin Community Hospital's emergency room is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Whatever you need, whenever you need it. That's the personal touch that makes the difference at Lake Martin Community Hospital in Denver.
Are you looking to book a Walt Disney vacation or cruise? Fairy Tale Journeys is here to make sure your experience is magical. Fairy Tale Journeys is an authorized Disney vacation planner which specializes in booking your Disney moment. Fairy Tale Journeys services are free and include more than 200 home-based agents to help make your Disney dreams come true, from lodging and fast passes to magic bands and other Disney experiences. Call Fairy Tale Journeys today and start making your Disney dream come true. 256-825-2628. 888-2668.
Ever envisioned watching your favorite team score a touchdown from the comfort of your dream home? I'm Angela Van Houten with Century 21 Lake Area Realty. I want to help you find
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Call on this Tuesday afternoon. Andy and Brett here with you until 6 o'clock, taking your phone calls at 1-888-9-TIGER-9, toll free locally at 334-887-3401 on the Auburn Opelika Tourism Hotline. Having a little trouble connecting with Brian Matthews. If we get him on, we'll go to him. If not, we'll just kind of forge on and just kind of pick up what we were talking about just then. You know, and we were talking about during the break, and Terry brought it up in the first segment. You know, I wrote in my column this week about how the saddest takeaway to me about the game Saturday was the fact that, you know, as everything points to me, I hope I'm wrong. I desperately hope I'm wrong. But it just, I mean, I have to say right now that the career of Jeremy Johnson as a quarterback at Auburn is over. I mean, I just look at him, and he comes out on the field, and you know, he looks as lost now as he did.
He looks lost.
He had to take every, you know, if Sean
that's what I'm
was not
saying. If he
taking
didn't play, he snapped. He took every snap.
I mean, it's befuddling. I don't even know any other way to say it. It's sad, and I don't know if I'll ever understand what the deal was, but do we have Brian?
We got him.
Okay, Brian Matthews from AuburnSports.com now joining us on the AO Tourism Hotline. Brian, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you guys?
We're doing pretty well. First of all, we got I got to bet with somebody. Gus Malzahn, was he in the CIA or the Mafia? Which do you think? Because the man can keep a secret like nobody I've ever seen.
Yeah, probably the CIA, because he's very good at keeping secrets, and he is not keen on giving out a lot of information.
When did you know that there was a chance that Sean White would not play, or that he was not practicing during the week? And Peyton Barber, for that matter.
Well, we heard little rumors, you know, as the week went on, but didn't really have a full idea of what was going on until, you know, that Friday, Saturday.
It's unbelievable. It was a surprise to me to get to the stadium and see the knee brace on him. But Auburn, you know, again, it's kind of the same old story. Against Arkansas, the defense, you know, I mean, the offense played well enough probably to win the game, but the defense could not make a play at the end. Saturday, I mean, it's kind of, I know it's against conventional logic to say that when a defense gives up 558 yards, but I thought the defense gave Auburn a chance to win the game, and the offense this time, you know, just really couldn't get it done.
Well, I agree, and you know, you look at Auburn's season so far. If the offense would be scoring 30 points a game during regulation, I would be 7-1 right now. And, you know, it used to be pretty much a lock that I guess my offense is going to score 30 points. So, you know, I think even though the defense is not very good, I think the biggest problem this year and the entire season has been the offensive production and, you know, how much of a fall off there's been, you know, for Gus Malzahn offense.
Do you believe that Auburn can get back to that kind of offense, scoring 30 points a game with a guy, let's say Sean White, a healthy Sean White, as he would mature? He's just a redshirt freshman now. Or do you think that Auburn has to get that dual threat quarterback?
Well, I think that's a $1 million question right now. I think going into this season, the answer would have been yes. Because, you know, Gus, you go back to Tulsa, he did there. And he did pretty good with, you know, 2009. You know, when he didn't have a dual threat quarterback with Chris Tribe. But I don't know now. I mean, I just don't know. I mean, it's been a dramatic drop-off this year. And you look at the offenses he's had with Nick Marshall and Cam Newton and how productive they were, and how two out of those three teams won SEC championships and made it to the national championship game. So, he's proven he can do it that way. He hasn't shown that he can do it the other way in quite a while, and that was as an offensive coordinator at a school in a conference that's not really built like the SEC is built. So, I don't know, but they need to make a decision. Sean White is a good quarterback, and he's capable of being a good quality starter in this league. But it's a matter of what's best for Auburn. Is that going back and going to junior college, dual threat guy, or is that trying to build the offense around Sean White? And I don't really have the right answer for that yet.
Well, Javon Robinson gets the most playing time that he's had all season long. Again, Peyton Barber kind of banged up, but you wonder, where he's been. Obviously, a little ankle turn, I think, at the beginning of the year, kind of re-aggravated that time. Doghouse is, what we've heard, but, he looked like the guy that maybe we thought we were going to get Saturday.
He absolutely did. I mean, he had some of the best runs that Auburn's had from running back all season. And, of course, his carries, I think he has, around 20, 24 now total, panel comparison to some of the other backs. So, yes, he looked terrific, and I think we'll see more of him through the final 4 games of the season. And I think Auburn needs to because, the way Auburn's offense is right now, they're not fooling anybody. And we go have to play quarterback. You're not getting as much space. Somebody's going to get yards after contact, get to the second level, and deliver. I think Peyton Barber can do that at times, but I saw a little bit more explosion and a little bit more natural running ability from Javon Robinson side of that.
This is another one of those funny things to say, but the first home start ever for Carl Lawson, and it's so good to see him not only start the game, but especially to finish the game.
Absolutely, and I thought he changed the game, even though his stat line was not that good. I think he freed up other guys like Casanova McKenzie to have one of his best games that he's had for an Auburn team, and I think he really intimidated Larry Tunsil at times. And I think Carl is going to be even a much, much better player a week later. Just to get his legs underneath him a little bit more, getting better shape and getting better, playing shape. It's not just about being in running shape, but it's just playing football shape. And I think getting him back was important for last week. Will be even more important for this week because you have to be under pressure that Texas A&M quarterback to slow down that offense.
Brian, could you talk a little bit about Marlon Character and David Marshall, the two recent Auburn commitments?
Well, I think Marlon Character is the guy that comes in and plays right away. I think if you watch Auburn's safeties against Ole Miss, they had some critical errors, especially on that long touchdown run there at the end of the first half. And, I think you've seen that Carlton Davis is probably Auburn's best defensive back right now as a true freshman. And I think Character is a guy who's sort of a really smart, heady guy, a guy that can pick up things quickly and a guy that can come in and play right away. And I think he's versatile enough to be a safety or a nickel or even a corner if you want to play him there. So he's a terrific pickup. He switched from South Carolina to Auburn. He's a guy Auburn's recruited hard for a long time. The reason I think he originally chose South Carolina was because he thought he had a better chance at early playing time there. But I think now that he's seen Auburn play this year, that he sees there's a definite opportunity to step in right away here at Auburn next year. And then David Marshall, he is a big physical type defensive tackle. He's not real big yet, but he's going to be. He's got a really nice frame. He's not a guy that's going to come in as a true freshman and dominate the SEC. I think it's going to take a couple of years, but he's a guy that I think can be a really good defensive tackle, grow into a defensive tackle in a couple of years and be a really good player. And even when he decommitted from Auburn, Auburn stuck with him. So that tells you how much they thought of him and how much they wanted him to be a part of this class. It's very rare for a kid to decommit from a school and end up going back to that school. It doesn't happen very often.
Finally today, Brian, thoughts on Sonny Galloway and his press conference?
I was not there, did not watch it live. I was in the car at the time, but I've caught bits and pieces. I've talked to a lot of the beat reporters that were there. And it's about what I expected it to be. It was sort of all over the place, nonsensical, just what you'd expect from Sonny Galloway. And I just don't see anything coming from it, other than a lot of hot air, I guess.
Yeah, I think that pretty much describes it best. Brian, we appreciate so much you joining us today. Just kind of let us know what to expect from auburnsports.com this week.
Well, we're going to have Will Muschamp tomorrow night. We've had a lot of recruiting info. Auburn had a lot of visitors, football and basketball over the weekend. Still got a few more of those to roll out this week. And, of course, we got basketball at the end of the week. And then before you know it, the regular season starts next week. So we'll have continue to have plenty of coverage of the basketball team, too.
Well, Brian, again, thanks so much. Do a fantastic job there. Be sure to check out auburnsports.com and follow Brian on Twitter. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Don't go anywhere. More Sportscall presented by Home Place Mortgage right after this.
Get stocked up for whatever you're doing at TK's. TK's has 15 locations in the area and even more deals.
Like 2 20-ounce Pepsi products for $2.50.
Propel or Sobe Life Water, 2 for $2.22. 16-ounce Rockstar Energy.
Orders. Spiral sliced, honey glazed ham, turkey breast, whole turkeys, sides, desserts. We've got it all. So let us do all the work this holiday season. With extended hours for the holiday, Honey Baked will be open and ready to take care of your holiday culinary needs. Just give us a call at 741-8411 or come and see us on Gateway Drive in Opelika. Give thanks this holiday season with Honey Baked Ham.
Honey Baked Ham. Celebrating life one meal at a time.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Call on this Tuesday afternoon. Andy and Brett here with you for one more segment in the first hour. We'll be back with hour number 2 after this segment. We appreciate you joining us today. Appreciate our sponsors, LMG and Home Place Mortgage, for all that they do for us. We're taking your predictions as we will all week. Auburn at Texas A&M. Javon Robinson rushing yards will be the tiebreaker. Javon had a good day. 18 carries, 91 yards, 5.1 yard average. I think that's probably the best that we've had really for a guy that has that many carries all year long. Had a 22-yarder as a long. So, but to me, really, it comes down to the health of Sean White. How much is he going to be able to recover? Is his knee going to be an issue all year? And I was talking with another guy, actually my brother-in-law this weekend, and the question became, well, if Sean White's only 70%, do you hold him out for Texas A&M in the hope that he will be 100% for Georgia and Alabama? Or would you, do you just, because basically to me, that's just conceding the Texas A&M game.
Well, it is conceding the Texas A&M game if you don't go in. I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know what the answer is to that one. Because you really give yourself no shot at all at the Iron Bowl if Sean White's not 100%. You really don't. He's got to be able to move and got to be able to execute. But are you rolling the dice and trying to you casting all care to the wind to try to just go out on top right there at the end of the year with those two? I don't know. That's a good question. I don't have an answer for that one.
Certainly Auburn's going to try to win every game. That was, I think, the question. I think David was kind of hinting at, is Auburn playing for the future now? Well, to be quite honest, I think we've been playing for the future since probably game 3. Ever since, we've been playing freshmen in the secondary all year long. We've been, when we made the change to
Carlton
Sean
Davis
White,
has improved.
He's played leaps and bounds. He's probably our best defender right now.
He really is.
Our best player on defense, a true freshman. What does that say? And we haven't mentioned it, but we talked a little bit with Brian. Carl Lawson coming back. I think it was the first drive Ole Miss had. We held them. They went for it on. It was like a third down.
Yeah.
And he was an inch away from making a sack. That would have been not good. That would have been. And that's the epitome of the season, though. We're there, but we can't do it.
Is Chris Frost the best safety we got?
Why don't we put him at free safety?
He was not. Because he's not going to go in there and fill a hole.
No.
He'd been there for 5 years. He's not going to fill a hole. All right, but he will drop back in coverage, and he will pick a pass off. He was a receiver in high school. Everybody says 5-star, but he wasn't a 5-star linebacker. It's a 5-star wide receiver, and you see why now.
He does have good hands.
He got great hands. He'll pick a pass off.
He will at that.
He won't fill a hole, though.
Again, the Auburn defense, they give up a ton of yards, but they hold Ole Miss to 2 field goals in the red zone. They hold them on a 4th down inside the 5. They get 2 turnovers. They gave Auburn a chance to win again, but we've talked about that quite a bit. I don't know what to say anymore about the offense and the play calling. And I think we all see it. We all sit up there and in the stands and kind of wonder what's going on. But it is what it is at this point.
It definitely is what it is at this point, and what it is a mystery. That's I've said in this show more than I've ever said. I don't have an answer to that question. I don't have an answer to that. I don't think anybody does, and that's a shame because, I don't know. And then there's parts of me that go, this is the real Auburn football team at 4-4. If we were 7-1, it'd be smoke and mirrors right now. You'd be masking issues that you can't take. That to me it would be. If we were able to sneak that win out against Arkansas and you're able to figure out a way to slug that one out Saturday, and then you don't miss what you miss as far as field goals and botched opportunities against Mississippi State. But we're just we are a 4-4 football team right now. I think it just feels right.
Yeah, but when we look at it, maybe when this season's over and we look back, will we say we're losing all these games by 1 score? As bad as we are and as bad as we look at times, we're still in these ball games. The only time we're out of a ball game is against LSU, and that was the one where it didn't even look like we tried. That was the one where you worried, have we already quit? This year. We don't look like we want to tackle Leonard Fournette for anything. So I don't know. I think this team's still got a lot of fight in them. That's another thing that I took away from Saturday. I appreciate the fact that they're still giving maximum effort, it looks like. I think we're getting better, and some individuals are getting better. The results certainly aren't there on the field, but now you got to go to Texas A&M, who just ran for 321 yards.
They're not very good. I mean, South Carolina. I mean, I know we're not much above that, but they floated over to Oxford and scored 3 points.
We've had trouble with mobile quarterbacks.
No doubt.
And Kyler, I think Murray had 156 yards rushing Saturday. So we'll see how that pays.
Boy, the future's bright.
We'll hopefully be a little bit more positive in hour number 2 of Sports Call. The Fox Sports Report is coming up next. Don't go anywhere. More Sports Call is on the way.
When hurt in a big truck accident, make one call to Kenneth Ingram Jr. Alabama's interstates are the hot spot for careless big rig accidents, and people are getting hurt. When big trucks don't follow the rules of the road, that's when serious accidents happen. And that's when you need to call Kenneth Ingram Jr. We've got your back, and we'll fight to get you the maximum recovery. Make one call to Kenneth Ingram Jr., champion of the common man, 256-212-9700.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be provided is greater than that of other attorneys.
You're listening to Sports Call on Tiger 93.9, WTGZ, Union Springs, Montgomery, and Auburn, and AM 620 WTRP, LaGrange.
Fox Sports trending now. Breaking news from the world of NASCAR. NASCAR handing down.
Fill it up and let MIMS take it away. MIMS Recycling, just past the North College Street intersection on Highway 280.
Call for pricing, 334-209-0193.
For the past 8 years, if you've needed affordable packaging and shipping, you could rely on Chad Hammond and the UPS store in Auburn. Great customer service has always been the foundation of their business, and they pride themselves on the experience they offer everyone who walks through the door. They provide more services than anyone else, anything you can do at the post office, plus faxing, copying, printing, laminating, and more. And they back everything with their pack and ship promise. Plus, no lines. They're here to make your life easier at the UPS store. They guarantee it. See them at 1550 Opelika Road in Auburn.
Heads or tails, kick or receive, with the wind or against the wind. Buy your friend a Bud Light, buy a stranger a Bud Light. Go to your team's bar, go to the opposing team's bar. Buy around during the next truck commercial, buy around during the next talking duck commercial. If you're truly up for whatever this weekend, grab the perfect beer for whatever happens. Crisp, refreshing Bud Light. Make 2 plans and let the NFL coin toss make the call. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
All's fair in love and war, and there's plenty of both in the latest production by Auburn Area Community Theater, The Love Cycle, November 6th, 7th, and 8th. The Love Cycle, 3 short plays that bring to life the passion, insanity, and absurd comedy of love at different stages of our lives. Seating is extremely limited for this intimate production in the round. For tickets and information, call 334-332-0881 or go to auburnact.org. The Love Cycle, November 6th through 8th, presented by Auburn Area Community Theater.
You better buckle your seatbelts because it's going to be a show to watch.
From Tiger Communications.
Jackson, touchdown!
For 20 years, East Alabama's sports talk leader.
Swing and drive, Johnson right!
Sportscall. Call in now at 887-3401-LOCAL. Or 1-888-9-TIGER-9 toll free.
Struck him out!
And now, coming to you live from the loveliest village on the plains. Sports Call.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Sports Call on this Tuesday afternoon. Andy Graham and Brett Pritchard here with you until 6 o'clock, taking your phone calls at 1-888-9-TIGER-9 toll free or locally at 334-887-3401 on the Auburn Opelika Tourism Hotline. We are taking your predictions as we will all week. Auburn at Texas A&M. Javon Robinson rushing yards will be the tiebreaker. Talked a lot about the Auburn-Ole Miss game in the first hour. Of course, if you got any comments on that, give us your evaluation of Auburn, where they are, where they're going. We'd love to hear it. Give us a call, 1-888-9-TIGER-9 toll free locally at 334-887-3401. Again, a little less than an hour now. The first official playoff top 25 will be unveiled. We'd love to know who's your top 4. Of course, again, Ohio State, they're undefeated. Baylor, they're undefeated, number 2 in the AP poll. Clemson's number 3, they're undefeated. LSU number 4, undefeated. TCU undefeated, number 5. Michigan State undefeated, number 6. Then it's Alabama 7-1, Notre Dame 7-1, Stanford 7-1, Iowa at 8-0. You still got Oklahoma State undefeated at number 12, and then there's those pesky Memphis at number 15, 8-0. Houston at number 18, 8-0 now.
There's a lot of
teams are going to play each other. Here's an interesting scenario, though. We'll talk about some of these, but the committee certainly has to hope, and I know it's their hope, that you're going to have an undefeated Big Ten, an undefeated Big 12, an undefeated SEC, and an undefeated ACC, which could happen. I mean, Clemson could easily win out. I mean, they've got Florida State left. That's about it. They got Syracuse.
Then who gets left out? The Pac-12?
Well, the Pac-12, one-loss Stanford would probably, unless they, of course, I think Stanford's probably their only hope. I think Stanford and Utah still play, but
Stanford almost should have lost to Washington
State. I take that back. Stanford plays Colorado, Oregon, and Cal.
Yeah, they should have lost. Yeah, they should have lost to.
And you got a one-loss Notre Dame. They could throw a wrench into the thing here, but I think if you had all those, I think you'd have to say those are the ones that would get in. If that happened,
I think that's
how likely is it that all those win out and go undefeated?
I don't think the SEC escapes.
The only way the SEC has an undefeated is if it's LSU.
That's it. Let's go to the phone lines. Got a couple of calls now. Ed, you're on Sports Call. Hey, Ed, you with us?
Yeah, I don't know if y'all know this. For all of us that call in, there's a little pause there when y'all might be saying the person's name and we don't actually hear it. That's why I'm always saying, hey, we don't know if we're on or not. But anyway, I was going to say a few quick things. One, congrats to the Carolina Panthers, and I wonder if they know how many. I can tell you from social media and such, that there are a lot of Carolina Panthers Panther fans, from the Auburn contingent, just, that have followed Cam and, and also somebody mentioned basketball earlier, and I can't wait for this basketball season. And I think I've told you all several times, but I really do think that we'll make the tournament this year. And then somebody mentioned earlier, and it said a couple places that Ole Miss won the game because they were the better team. Now, I know they got Kimdichie, and I know Carl Lawson, that was his first game back, but I'll take Carl Lawson, Kimdichie, any day. I think they'll even each other out. But you take that, and you look at recruiting the last 4 years, and if they're the better team, why is that? And there ain't but one answer, of course, and that's going to be coaching. Are y'all still there?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah, we're here.
Ed, I would never say that Hugh Freeze was. At least I never would have thought that. At least for the last several years, that I would never say Hugh Freeze was a better coach than Gus Malzahn. But I think roster-wise, certainly Ole Miss is a more talented roster right now than Auburn.
Okay. In
the old days, I hate to cut you off, Ed, but that should never happen. No. That should never happen. Auburn should never be a backseat driver to Ole Miss on anything. I'm sorry. They should be able to get their win here and there. That was their 5th win in Jordan-Hare Stadium all time. But that's the way it ought to be. Auburn is a better program all the way around. They should never have a better roster than Auburn.
Okay, I agree with you. And, hey, thanks for taking my call, and I enjoy your show.
Hey, Ed, we appreciate your call because I think you made some good points. I mean, you're right. I mean, there's anomalies out there, and there's years where somebody's better than you. But for the most part, year in and year out, no, absolutely not. Mississippi State, no. Ole Miss, no. Those teams should never be in front of an Auburn or an Alabama or an LSU. I mean, it just is what it is. I mean,
they bring in Chad Kelly, who's done a pretty doggone good job. He's a pretty good quarterback. He's not a great quarterback, but then you got guys like Laquan Treadwell, you got Kimdichie, you got Tony Connor, you got
they recruited well, but so have
last
we.
2 or 3 years, but they've obviously developed them better.
They have. That's my point. Okay, so where does that go to? Let's go back to the phone lines. Russell, you're on Sports Call.
Hey guys, War Eagle. Hey, going to go off what we talked about Friday afternoon. Did you see much, Brent, on the defensive side of the ball? What changed for you?
Not much changed, other than Carl Lawson came in and opened up some holes for Casanova McKenzie and Devontae Lambert to make some tackles. I mean, he is unbelievable. I mean, he's out of shape, but, man, I'm telling you, he's something else. He really does change the schematics of the defense. And it's crazy that one guy can do that, but he does. And, through about, 2.5 quarters, we had not given up many yards on offense. But as our defense, as he got tired and they started to do things, then the yards started to pile up.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say is, how many yards do we give up? Which is
550, which is a joke.
It blows my mind. That's what blows my mind. I mean, and I know that's a statistic. And you can't really, and to me, the game was lost in coaching. Going for 4th down in the first half, right there, giving them the ball to score a touchdown. That was terrible. That was all the momentum to Ole Miss going into halftime. And hell, we about gave them a field goal there, too. They should have got a field goal because Jeremy Johnson did fumble the ball. I don't care. I mean, yeah, they gave it to us, but you look at that and you're sitting there saying they're going to get the football, and then they gave us a break. And I thought that we actually got more breaks than we normally get. We did in Ole Miss, I thought, did everything that they could do to lose that game on the road. You look at turnovers, You look at penalties. You look at, things like that, and they were shooting themselves in the foot, but yet somehow we managed to outcoach ourselves, outthink ourselves in the red zone, like we've done multiple times in this 1-7 run that we have in the SEC, including, Alabama game, Mississippi State game, all these field goals that could be touchdowns are what's killing the offense. I agree with you, but we didn't find out anything new about the defense. We knew that Carl Lawson's a playmaker. And by the way, if he doesn't go pro, I'm sorry. If I'm him, I'm going pro. I don't know. I mean, maybe he'll want to stick around and pull our program out of the hole that we've dug ourselves into. We can only hope for that. But if I'm him, I'm going pro, and I don't see how he's not a top 10 pick because he is one of the best defensive linemen in college football. You can sit there and say, Ken Dietz, no. For one person to be able to come in and totally change a defense, we're top 20 defense with Carl Lawson all year long. Sit there and think about that. We beat Mississippi State with Carl Lawson. For sure, not even a question. We beat Arkansas with him. And if he's not out of shape and gets to play the whole game, we're probably going to beat Ole Miss. Well, if we don't shoot ourselves in the foot, we're probably going to beat Ole Miss. That's how much that one person can raise our defense up. Because when he's off the field, it was like a hot knife through butter. They're not worried about pass rush. They're just sitting there running their offense. But when he's on the field, it's a totally different defense. But anyway, thank you guys for taking the call. War Eagle.
Thank you, Russell. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would say that we're a top 20 defense.
Probably top 40 or 50.
I'm not sure I believe that. I mean,
he changes a lot.
He did, but, we gave up 558 yards with it.
No, he didn't play much in the second half.
Well, he played enough.
Through 2.5 quarters, it was like 270 yards of offense. It blew up halfway through the third and all of the fourth. That's where they gained all their yards. And, and I'm just saying, I'm not trying to make an excuse for it because Lord knows, I don't do that up here. But I'm just telling you, I was watching the video board too and watching those yards rack up, and they started rolling about midway through the third all the way on through the end of the game. And it was because he didn't come in very much anymore. He opened up. Casanova McKenzie looked like a different player because of him. Devontae Lambert did. There were 2 or 3 other guys that freed up that hadn't been able to free up. It's crazy that it works like that. I was the one guy up here, and I think Randy was with me. Felt like, man, come on. Carl Lawson, great, but, does he change it that much? Yes, he does. Let's go back to the phone lines. Rain Man, you're on Sports Call.
Hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Oh, there you are. I finally got the little buzz. Hey, I don't know if I would say that Carl Lawson did he made our defense better. I'm not going to say that he didn't, but I would say he made us from really, really bad to not so bad. Ultimately, when he was picked up by 2 blockers and number 70 for Ole Miss just let Casanova McKenzie come through there completely untouched, that was just bad offensive line play. That wasn't necessarily that they had the double team call on that play. The guard just missed his block. But at the beginning of this year, I made one prediction. It wasn't wins and losses or where we'd finish in the West. Do you remember what one prediction that I made was?
I don't recall.
I predicted that our defense would give up somewhere between 24.1 and 28.7 points per game. Do you remember why I predicted that?
Can't say as I do.
Because that's the best and worst defenses we've had the last 6 previous years under our current and previous coaching regime. 2010 gave up 24.1 points per game, and 2011 gave up 28.7 points per game. Would you care to guess what we're giving up this year?
27 points.
28.35. Our defense hasn't gotten any better this year than it was last year. Technically, it's the second worst defense we've had in the last 7 years, statistically by getting points per game allowed. Carl Lawson's a quality player, but he can't fix everything that's wrong with our defense unless we can also play him at defensive back and linebacker and safety. I didn't need to play him the offensive line somewhere if we can get it out of him, because we need a lot of players all over the field to get much better. But Carl helps. He helps some. I don't know if I'd say he'd make us a top 20 or even a top 50 defense. We'd probably still be in the 60s or 70s. We have so many problems that are so ubiquitous throughout our whole team. Yeah, I still think we're going to finish 5-7. Even Georgia right now, I think they're going to figure out what they need to do and at least get it together enough to win out and finish 9-3. So I'm not sure what we're going to be able to do between now and the end of the year. And I'm not really sure that that body of evidence from our current coaching staff would be indicative that we can count on much improvement over the next year and the year after, given that they've been at it 3 years and this is the result. If you hired someone to run a business for you, in the first year they were knocking it out of the park, in the second year they were breaking even, in the third year they were hemorrhaging money, you wouldn't let them run your business much longer because you'd be out of business then. So I don't know what we could look to the future for as we stand. But that's just my opinion. I'm sure it's wrong.
It's hard to argue with it.
Well, you guys have a good.
Thanks so much for the call. Up against a break here, but don't go anywhere. More Sports Call presented by Lee Marketing Group right after this.
Comprehensive marketing solution.
Make your next stop Foshi's Watts Quick Stop on Dable Road in Alex City. They get you started at 5 a.m. every morning with an array of delicious biscuits. They have the lowest prices on candy and drinks, great pellet ice to fill your cooler, a live bait and tackle store, and mine ethanol gas to keep all of your engines running clean and smooth. Don't forget the beer specials from 99-cent Bud Light, Budweiser 16-ounce cans, $10.99 12-pack of Coors Light, Miller Lite, and a case of 8-ounce Budweiser for $10.99. Make it convenient for you. Choose Foshi's Watts, the area's best one-stop shop.
Service, selection, quality, and value is hard to find all in one package, but the all-new JD's Tire and Lube Center at the old Foshi's location in Alex City delivers. Get full service at the pump with JD's no ethanol fuel and diesel fuel. JD's Tire and Lube offers any brand of tire you can name with professional installation and fast turnaround. JD's does all your vehicle maintenance work, and you can always expect great service on all we do at a price that delivers value. JD's Tire and Lube in Alex City is the total package for all your vehicle needs.
When hurt in a big truck accident, make one call to Kenneth Ingram Jr. Alabama's interstates are the hot spot for careless big rig accidents, and people are getting hurt. When big trucks don't follow the rules of the road, that's when serious accidents happen. And that's when you need to call Kenneth Ingram Jr. We've got your back, and we'll fight to get you the maximum recovery. Make one call to Kenneth Ingram Jr., champion of the common man. 256-212-9700.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be provided is greater than that of other attorneys.
Experience and knowledge from the pros. Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply.
Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply, locally owned and operated with over 30 years of experience, is very involved in giving back to our community. Our employees offer top-notch customer service with superior product knowledge, no matter the size of the job. Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply have you covered.
Experience and knowledge from the pros. Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Tuesday edition of Sports Call. Andy and Brett here with you for about 35 more minutes or so, taking your phone calls at 1-888-9-TIGER-9 toll-free, locally at 334-887-3401.
Did you catch any of that press conference yesterday?
I did not. I avoided it purposely, but the tweets about it were pretty funny.
Yeah, pretty funny. 85 minutes of what?
Well, I think Brian had the best quote. He said it was nonsensical.
I don't know what to say. Sometimes, that old saying, when you open your mouth, you remove all doubt. Right. I think that applies maybe a little bit to this situation. I've never seen some of the stuff that heard, it's amazing. I don't know. I guess he felt like he needed to vindicate himself. But, literally nobody knew about it. No news agency covered it. I didn't see any footage or anything about it. It's almost like, okay, we've parted ways, and even the news didn't pick it up.
Well, I guess, again, what do you expect? And we invited this man into our program.
That's right. That's kind of the point I'm trying to make, is that you kind of make your own bed sometimes, and I don't know. You just
well, there's two things. Russell brought up the fourth down, and that's something I wanted to mention in the first hour. But I wanted to go for it. Auburn was up 10-3. We had played well. The defense was playing well. I felt like if we could go up 17-3, I thought we'd have a great chance to win the game. It was 4th and 2.5. We called. We run.
It was there.
With the play was there. You just cannot throw that ball high. And I think it's a combination of him being a redshirt freshman and for the fact that he's bad knee. But if you hit him, if you hit Marcus Davis in the chest, now granted, there's not a
chance that he'll get you.
There's a chance he won't get you. But I didn't mind the call, and I didn't mind going for it. But it turned out and it backfired, and it ended up costing us, and we went into the half 10-all. But I just felt like if we could have done, because they were going to kick off to them, they were going to get the ball to start the second half. And there was another thing too. I don't know if anybody was watching it. Did you watch the replay of the game?
I tried not to.
Okay. No. Well, there was that 3rd and 15 where I
remember it vividly enough.
They supposedly caught a pass and they didn't review it. And Muschamp said it was incomplete. And I don't wonder if anybody saw it on TV and said if it was complete or not. But
I don't know. Let's go back to the phone lines. That's a good point. Let's go back to the phone lines. Will, you're on Sports Call.
How y'all doing?
Good, Will. How are you, man?
I'm good. Hey, I just want whatever happened Saturday, a lot of things went wrong, but, the fan base was there, sold out crowd, 11 o'clock game, and we've got one more 11 o'clock game this year. But I just hate to see that center get knocked back in the quarterback.
That was actually Alex Kozan that got knocked back into Sean White, and he didn't play center. He plays guard, and he got trucked. Yeah, it was Alex Kozan that got pushed all the way back into. Yep. Yeah. He may have gotten Golson too. I don't know. I just saw the one that Alex Kozan got trucked on.
Well, we definitely need 2 to 3, 4 players on each side, and our recruiting looks great. But hats off to the fans. We're sticking by this team, and I just hope somebody can figure out something to make a showing in the last 4 games.
Well, maybe so, Will.
I think a lot of it depends on the health of Sean White, really.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. I tell you, he's got a good future ahead of him, and I hope he just doesn't get beat up too bad next few weeks.
Yeah, good points. Thank you, Will. We appreciate your call. It's not a fact that nobody's sticking by the team. Look, I'm going to stick by them. They're 0-13. I hope that never happens. But, I mean, you got to ride out with the, when in the thick and the thin. So let's go back to the phone lines. Luke.
Hey, guys, how are y'all this afternoon?
What's up, Luke?
Hey, a couple of things. First of all, I've heard of several Auburn people say, and Andy included now, that they were happy they went for it on that fourth down. And honestly, I think if it was Auburn 2014 or certainly Auburn 2013, I could say, yeah, I could see that team going for it. This particular team, I think that was a bad call, and I think it showed a lack of adaptation for what you have as a team. Because, frankly, I thought Auburn's defense at that moment was playing as well as they've played all year. Whether it was because Carl Lawson came back or whatever, I thought they was playing as well as they could. And so my philosophy would be in that moment with a freshman quarterback who's not very agile, who has a bum knee, either punt it deep and try and hopefully pin them, or even if they take it at 20, let that defense that's been playing so well, give them some confidence to say, hey, we think you can stop them. Maybe we can even get the ball back. So I think there were about 5 minutes left second in that moment. I thought it was a bad call for this particular Auburn team. For the previous two Gus Malzahn teams, I would have gone for it because you've got Nick Marshall back there and probably some speedy running back that you can rely on. And then to talk about the officials and missing the call on the pass reception by Ole Miss, I know I had to listen to the game on the way to Birmingham, and the Auburn radio crew was going crazy looking for a review, but now they go crazy a lot. But they were going crazy looking for a review in that moment. And honestly, as much hype as the Miami-Duke game has got about the officials after the game, I thought that the Auburn-Ole Miss game, and I'm talking about for both sides, showed once again how bad the officials have been this season in the SEC. I thought there were so many calls and both ways, and you can say, well, maybe that averages it out. But my goodness gracious, how do you not review that particular play you guys were talking about on Laquan Treadwell's touchdown catch? There was an obvious hold on him. Now, he still caught it, so it didn't matter. But I think the point remains. And there were probably 4 or 5 other obvious instances.
Well, let me just say this from having a point-blank look at watching Laquan Treadwell. Luke, he may have gotten held on that one, but that boy right there, he loves to grab jersey and pull it off the shoulder pads. He mutilated Carlton Davis almost all day. And, I mean, I watched that matchup one-on-one. So, I get that. I understand where you're going with it. But and I agree with you on this officiating. It's horrible. It's horrible across the board. I've seen it horrible on multiple levels. And
could be worse. It could be the ACC.
Well, that Miami game, it took 9 minutes to review that play. It took 29 seconds to run that ball back. And there were so many mess-ups. And, I mean, you could have just picked one. And they picked the flag up and say they scored a touchdown. That is the worst job. I mean, for 9 minutes, what were they looking at?
I've never seen a crew pick up that particular call after it's been announced. I have seen them throw the flag, huddle, and then announce that, hey, we saw a block in the back, but we're not going to call it because we talked about this from the side. I've never seen the call announced block in the back, then go to review, come back and say no block in the back, when if you saw a review, which is not a reviewable play anyway, if you saw the review, you would see probably, 3 or 4 more blocks in the back?
Yeah.
And the fact that crew only got suspended for 2 games is the biggest joke of all. And if I were an ACC team, I would be thinking, oh, great, that crew's suspended. What do we do, get their backup?
Yeah, no kidding. Luke, we appreciate it, brother. We'll talk to you tonight on Sports Blitz, okay? And thank you so much. And, William, if you'll hold on, we'll catch you on the other side of the break, okay?
Don't go anywhere. More Sportscall right after this.
prompt. Just ask them. But instead of just asking them, ask your friends, family, coworkers, and people you trust. And they'll say, May Refrigeration. If you need your AC serviced or replaced, call May at 745-2653. That's 745-COLD. May Refrigeration, serving the air conditioning needs of the Auburn-Opelika area since 1968. But don't take our word for it. Ask around.
This holiday season, show your employees you're the best boss around with a gift of Honey Baked Ham. This is Crystal from Honey Baked Ham in Opelika. With special corporate gifting rates, Honey Baked lets you show your appreciation for all your employees. The world's best ham makes the perfect gift. Slow smoked for more than 20 hours and hand finished with our sweet, crunchy glaze. Whether you're thanking a loyal client or a dedicated coworker, the Honey Baked Ham shows your appreciation in every slice. Learn more about our special gifting rates on Gateway Drive in Opelika.
I ain't taking a prediction.
741-8411.
There's all these calls ain't even asked
Honey
for.
Baked Ham. Celebrating life.
They don't usually start.
We're coming to you live from the WTKO News Chopper, where we are on the hunt for the legendary TK's convenience store.
What was the
Said to have
first
the best
play?
deals on goods
We
like
didn't run
20
up the
ounce
mill. We
Pepsis,
didn't run
2
the
for
jet
$2.50,
sweep.
Woodbridge
What was
wine,
that?
1.5 liters for
Because I remember
$9.99,
thinking when they
and all your
ran.
daily necessities, as
Do
well
you
as the
remember
most
what we ran?
competitive
I can't
prices
even
on
remember.
gas with brand names like Texaco, Valero,
I don't
and
think anybody
Chevron.
said
It's
it,
believed to
though.
have the cleanest store. Better get you in and out in a flash.
did we
With
run?
great deals like those, the
Didn't we
only place
throw
to
the ball
go is
first play?
I
TK's
think we
Convenience
did.
Store. And there we found it. With 15 locations to better serve you, there is no way you can't find one of these great stores.
Can't remember.
Auburn Links at exit 51 features Bermuda grass greens and rolling fairways along Parkinson's Mill Creek. By taking advantage of the natural beauty already in place, Auburn Links has a scenic yet fair layout for every golfer. Golf Digest presented Auburn Links with the 4-star award, and Links Magazine once ranked the course 3rd best among public courses in the Southeast region. It's one of the best golfing values in the South. Visit their website for more information at auburnlinks.com. For tee times, call 887-5151.
They did what?
At 185 total yards.
Oh, I know it. I know it.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Call on this Tuesday afternoon. Andy and Brett here with you until 6 o'clock. Taking your phone calls at 1-888-9-TIGER-9 toll-free or locally at 334-887-3401 on the Auburn Opelika Tourism Hotline. And do we still have William?
Yeah, we got William. Let's go back to the phone lines. William, you're on Sports Call. Hey, William, you there?
Yes. Hey, good evening, guys.
How's it going, William?
Going good. Trying to adjust to this daylight savings time. I was pretty much, Luke stole my thunder. I was going to say a lot of the things he did. I've been very unimpressed with officiating. Going back to the call that y'all were talking about where it was obviously incomplete to everyone in the stadium, and they don't even review it. That was the 3rd and 15. Do y'all recall what happened on that drive for Ole Miss? Did they end up scoring?
I don't. If they did, they only kicked a field goal because they only had 10 points in the first half.
That's right.
Okay. Well, that's 3 points right there. And then you got, let's be honest, I don't know what the officials saw on Jeremy's play, but that was obviously a fumble to pretty much everybody in the stadium and on TV as well. I feel like they missed that as well. And it goes both ways. And that brings me to ask, do y'all think the replay has been successful overall in college football?
I think the majority of the calls are getting.
It wasn't a good weekend this weekend.
No, but it seems like I don't understand how these obvious ones are getting by. That's the ones that you just. I feel like mainly, for the most part, they do get it right. But there's this percentage of ones that you just cannot make miss, and using the replay. So those are the ones that I just don't. I don't understand, but I like replay. I'm always in favor of getting the call right, and of course that was not the case at sometimes this weekend.
Well, and sometimes it's like you have to ask yourself what's worse, getting the call wrong, or getting the call wrong, reviewing it, and then getting it wrong again. And it just baffles me how they can miss these. And I just wonder, the system's still not perfect. It does help. There have been many instances where it has helped, but there have been a lot lately where it's baffling. And it wastes. And also too, they go to the replay a lot of times when it just seems cut and dry and unnecessary. So I think that's my biggest frustration with it, especially in sitting in the stadium, is the amount of time it adds to the games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. It's option B. It's worse to miss it, review it, and then miss it again.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
All
appreciate
right, well, thanks, guys.
Thank you, William. We appreciate it. 1-888-9-334-887-3401 to be part of Sports Call. Only about 20 minutes left in today's show, but we got a lot of great callers, and we are taking prediction Auburn, Texas A&M. Javon Robinson rushing yards will be our tiebreaker. Well, how many carries will he get? I mean, that's kind of going out on a limb there. I'd hope that he's going to start getting a lot more, and he and Peyton Barber can kind of duo that thing back there in the backfield. But
maybe Peyton Barber wouldn't be banged up right now if we were using Javon Robinson some more,
maybe so,
sharing some carries. But
yeah, he has carried a load. There's no doubt.
A healthy Auburn team has very little margin for error this year. A banged up Auburn team has no margin for error. So those two guys have got to get healthy for Auburn to have any chance down.
How bad is that Kentucky team? I'm just glad we escaped from Lexington with a 3-point win after looking back at that one.
They struggled. They struggled.
They struggled at being polite.
They had a tough time on special teams against the Volunteers. But
boy, Tennessee is a team of what ifs. Man, if they finish the Florida game, if they finish the Oklahoma game, Arkansas, there's no way they should lose to them. They're right there with 4 minutes to go against Alabama. Man, they've had some chances. Really, they have.
I don't know if you're a Tennessee fan. Do you look at it? I mean, it's either glass half full or empty. But do you look at it and say, "Man, Butch has got us on the right road"?
This year, I think
we feel like we're really close. We get a few more pieces, we can.
Yeah,
we're over the top. Or do you look at it and say, we're never going to get it done?
Well, this year, no. I think this year it's different. Now, it was dejecting not to finish those games in the fourth quarter. But this has gotten better as the years gone along for Tennessee, and they're a good football team, man. They didn't show it at the beginning of the year by not being able to finish, but they've gotten better, and there's no doubt about it.
Florida 27, Georgia 3. Georgia got 223 total yards. Had 69 yards
they
rushing.
Kicked 4 field goals in 2 games.
Yeah, they haven't scored a touchdown in a while.
They had 3 field goals against Missouri, won 9-6, didn't they? And they won. They kicked 1 against Florida.
That's correct.
They've scored 12 points in
and
2 ball
5
games.
Turnovers Saturday. We keep talking about Georgia, and they're really in the same boat as Auburn. They're kind of imploding. There's no question about that. But I think the cries keep getting louder and louder. And I'm not sure where they go from here. They bring in Schottenheimer.
I think he's gone. No, I think he's gone this year. I mean, there's more heat.
You talking about Rick? I think he'd have to lose to Kentucky or Auburn to lose his job. I really do.
Well, I mean,
now that's possible, to be quite honest.
Yeah, it is. But, I mean, this is not a good Georgia team at all. And when Nick Chubb went down, I mean, so did their offense. Their offense went away. I'm talking about totally away.
What do you think the thought process is for starting Fatone Bata?
I don't know.
I mean, he looked
horrible.
Quite lost.
He looked horrible.
I mean, if you looked at him and said, "This is our best chance to win," I don't know, you've given up to me. I mean, I thought Grayson Lambert hadn't played well, but you got Ramsey out there punting. I mean, probably the best pass of the day was one that threw on the fake punt. It wasn't complete. So I don't know. Georgia's got problems. Now, granted, Texas A&M had a lot of problems.
This is 2 years in a row.
Auburn's
Florida
got 2 teams that have a lot of problems in succession here.
This is 2 years in a row. Florida's taken Georgia to the woodshed. I mean, it is.
Last year they weren't supposed to. This year they were, and did.
Yeah, and did. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how all that plays out. But man, that Georgia Auburn game next Saturday. Can you believe that?
Next
Saturday.
Can.
Man,
next Saturday morning. As yet another 11 a.m.
That's
affair.
right. That's right.
And I know everybody's all upset about this, and they keep saying, why don't Jay Jacobs do something? What is he supposed to do? He can't make the team better.
He wants to win too. I mean, don't get him wrong, but
I know people think that the power of the athletic directors, I think it's much greater than it actually is.
Yeah, you can't.
So, I mean,
not much you can do with
as
that.
long as ESPN's running things, we'll play whenever they ask us to or tell us to. So, anyway, we'd love to hear from you. 1-888-9-TIGER-9 toll free locally at 334-887-3401 on the AO Tourism Hotline. One more segment of the Tuesday Sports Call when we come back right after this.
AVHLakeMartin.com. Angela Van Houten, helping families like yours make memories of a lifetime.
Welcome back, everyone, to the final segment of the Tuesday Sports Call. Andy and Brett taking you home to 6 o'clock here. Still time to get that final phone call in. 1-888-9-TIGER-9 toll free or locally at 334-887-3401. And we'll go to the AO Tourism Hotline.
Yeah, John, you're on Sports Call.
Hey, guys.
Hey, John, what's up, man?
Hey, I don't know. Yeah, I know this has been talked about, but I'm just sitting there thinking, why on earth has Auburn, if you think about it, I guess you'd have to go back to maybe 2005. I know we had some good stats on defense in 2007, and I'm sure 6 was okay. But, you go back, and I'm just thinking, why on earth we basically not had such defense for all these years? And you can't just blame, it's not just one coach. I mean, my goodness, we've got Will Muschamp, who I don't know what talents, I can't recall the talent he had in 2007, but he put up some pretty decent numbers. But Gene Chizik, a defensive guru, Ellis Johnson couldn't make it work, and we're imploding. Maybe we're getting a little bit better. But I just say to myself, why? For a decade. And let me tell you something else. Since in the last 10 years, I think the LSU game last year where we crushed them was the only true, complete football game that Auburn has played on both sides of the ball where they dominated a good opponent in the same period of a decade, And I'm just thinking, what's the deal, And it goes back to defense. But I don't know what the answer is other than just a head coach and stop recruiting these players. But, we get the, number 1 defensive player in the country. And he's done okay, But I don't know. You just look at players. It seems like now we're getting talent, and they're not performing. And so I just say to myself, what's the deal? Is it in the team, And what do you think we're going to get on recruiting this coming year based on how we perform? Anyway, I'll listen to y'all. I love your show, guys. Thanks.
Hey, we appreciate it, John. Thank you so much. And, hey, look, that's the baffling mystery is that they named off some really good defensive coordinators. We've had some good ones. And then it just don't work for whatever reason. I don't get it either. I don't
2008, we were 29th in the country. That was the last. I mean, that was a bad year, obviously.
That wasn't a very good football
team. But
it
was we held our own. I mean, that was a 3-2 game, obviously, against Mississippi State. But since then, we've averaged to being about 70th in the country. And, John, I went back and looked at every defensive recruit we've had since 2008. I mean, when you start to really think about it, we've had one elite defensive lineman.
Yep.
We've had one linebacker that you would say, in my opinion, I would say would be very good, not elite, but very good, and that was Darren Bates. That we've recruited since then. Josh Bynes is in that era, but we recruited him before that. But in the last 8 years, I mean, one linebacker that's very good, one defensive lineman that's phenomenal, and one that's very good, that'd be D4.
Yeah.
Now, the question is, are we just not getting the right kids? Are we not developing? And that's the whole, that's the mystery that surrounds it.
It's got to be a combination of both. I mean, it's got to be a combination of not developing and.
But it comes down. I mean, defensive line is where it starts. You cannot succeed defensively in the SEC without a good to great defensive line. And the defenses that have a really good defensive line are the ones that, are the best. So Auburn hasn't had it. How do we get it? I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
I think we're all searching for that. I know this, that Will Muschamp knows what a great defense looks like. He knows how to build one. And given time, if we give him 3 years, we'll get there. But between now and then, it may be painful. It's painful this year, that's for sure.
Well, if Will Muschamp can't get it turned around, I don't know what to do. I'm serious. I mean, because
I think you got to go back. You got to go away from the spread. I really do.
What does that mean? Getting rid of Gus Malzahn?
Yeah,
what does it mean? Because he's not going to change the offense.
No,
he's not going to change the scheme or what he's doing. If that's what it takes to get a defense that's going to be competitive again, then I don't know. It's a good question.
I mean, like I say, if Will, like you said, we said that before when we hired him. If Will can't get it done, then I don't think it can be done.
And right now, it's not looking good.
It's not looking good. But again,
it's not improving very much. I know that.
There is something to that old saying that, things get worse before they get better.
Sure.
So, I think this.
But you see some guys on the defense that have gotten better, for sure, like Carlton Davis.
Yeah.
Man, he has turned the corner, and he's had to quickly because, man, he battled all day against Laquan Treadwell. And I know Treadwell won his battles, but Carlton Davis won a few too.
He did. Oh, I think he's going to be great. I really do.
We'll see how it all plays out.
Here's this is one of those things when you look at it. This is the NCAA. This is college football. This is the world, I guess, we live in. Will Greer, buys something at GNC and takes it. He gets suspended for a year. JT Barrett's driving drunk. He gets suspended for a game. How do you even?
And Cardell Jones goes and picks him up at the police station.
I don't even know how you even resolve that. I just
it's not. It's so skewed. It's not equal.
Frank Beamer,
all punishment is not equal.
No. Frank Beamer steps down, or at least he will retire at the end of the season. Hawaii fires Norm Chow. That brings Virginia Tech, Southern Cal, Central Florida, Southern South Carolina, North Texas, Minnesota, Miami, Maryland, Illinois, and Hawaii all open at the end of the year. If you can't get a job this year, you're probably not going to get one.
Good point.
Well, that's the end of the Tuesday Sports Call. Thanks so much for joining us today. Sports Call back on the air tomorrow. Will and Tom will be with you at 4 o'clock. For Brett Pritchard, I'm Andy Graham saying so long for now. We'll talk again soon.